Candidates, so today we are going to discuss what is CDS. So CDS stands for Combined Defense Services Examination. So this is an opportunity given by Union Public Service Commission that selects eligible and suitable candidates into the armed forces, but as an officer. So guys, remember this particular exam is conducted by UPSC to select eligible officers into the armed forces. When I say about armed forces, guys, let us understand that there are three wings in our armed forces: Army, Navy, and Air Forces. Okay. And for inducting officers into these wings, we have various academies. Okay. So let us understand there are there are four academies: Indian Military Academy, that is for Army, that only trains male candidates, whereas we have Indian Naval Academy for Navy that trains both male and female candidates, Indian Air Force Academy both for male and female candidates, and we have OTA, Officers Training Academy, that is training for Army but for both male and female candidates. So let us see how the academies look like. So guys, this is Indian Military Academy located in Dehradun. This is Officers Training Academy located in Chennai. Both of them are training future officers for the Army. Whereas Indian Naval Academy, Ezimala, Kerala, that is training officers, male and female officers for Indian Navy. And then comes Indian Air Force Academy, Dundigal. So guys, these are the four training institutes that are training officers in the Indian Armed Forces. Now, you might be getting curious, guys, how you can join academies, how you can be part of these academies. Okay, so guys, simply as I have told you, guys, UPSC conducts examinations for inducting the candidates into such academies and making them officers. So, guys, let us understand the eligibility criteria. So, first, for armed forces, it's very strict and you do not have any reservation in this case. So, guys, if you're falling between the age group 19 to 24 for Indian Military Academy, Indian Naval Academy, or Air Force Academy, then you are fit to join the Navy or military or the Air Force Academy. But for Officers Training Academy, 1 year extra you are getting. That is 19 to 25. However, guys, there is one minor detail you need to understand, that the upper age limit which has been prescribed, it is at the time of joining the academy. So, which means automatically the age limit is reduced to 1 year less. Getting my point? This 24 years of age should be at the time of joining the academy. Other than that, if you are, no matter what category, what social category you are belonging to, SC, ST, OBC, there shall be no reservation for in such cases. And marital status, of course, you need to be unmarried. So guys, coming towards the educational qualification for the respective academies, there have been a misconception, guys, that in armed forces, if you wish to be the officer, you need technical degrees. However, guys, that is partially true. If you are willing to join the Indian military academies, you should have only a recognized degree from any university. So in case of Army, Indian Military Academy, you just need to have a degree. That is also, you do not need to have any minimum percentage criteria, benchmark is not there. In case of Indian Naval Academy, you should have an engineering degree. Okay, so since this is a technical field, that is why it requires engineering degree. In case of Air Force Academy, you should have either an engineering degree or you should have studied physics, chemistry and mathematics at your 10+2 level. And the criteria for Officers Training Academy, that is the premier training institute for Army, that remains the same with IMA. Okay, so these are the technical specification as far as the academies or the wings are concerned. Guys, now coming towards the next point, guys, off and on when we are willing to join the armed forces, we have that confusion, that height criteria, weight criteria, we need to be very muscular. So guys, remember, you're not joining as a GD. Okay, you're not joining in the subordinate level, you're joining as an officer. So once you join, the basic plus minus that shall be addressed in your academy. So minimum height required is 157 centimeter. And minimum weight, that there is a particular BMI, body mass index, which needs to be followed. Okay, and even if it is not being followed, there is plus minus 10% is allowed. Since during the academy days, it shall be fixed by the academy itself. Okay, for female it is 152 centimeter. As said guys, the weight is plus minus 10% allowed since you're going for the officer entry. Now coming to the various stages of the examination, let us understand. So guys, this examination have been basically classified into three categories. First comes the written test, or we can say it is the screening test. Okay, where the eligible candidates are screened for the subsequent stages. Okay, so the written stage, then comes the SSB interview, and then comes the medical examination. We will be talking in depth about all the stages. So right now, let us understand what is the written test. So guys, as said earlier, the written test is conducted by UPSC twice a year. Okay, and it has basically three papers. What are the three papers, guys? English, GK, compulsory for all, but however, mathematics, if you are joining for IMA, if you are joining for AFA or INA, you need to appear for that. If you think that you are not good at maths, yet you want to join the armed forces, then you can only appear these two papers and join Officers Training Academy. So this is again one advantage given by the armed forces. Okay, so see guys how the examination pattern is. Okay, first examination is English, that will be started from 9 to 11, 120 number of questions, 100 marks. Correct question you will be getting 0.83, and incorrect question minus 0.27 shall be deducted. That applies same to the GK, 2 hours, 120 questions, 100 marks. Okay, and what happens, English is finished by 11 a.m. in the morning, you get a gap of 1 hour, then again from 12 to 2 you will have your GK. Okay, once you are done with your GK, you will again get 1 hour of gap, then from 3 to 5 you have math. But remember, mathematics is only limited to the AFA, IMA and INA. If you're joining for the OTA, you need not to appear the mathematics paper. Be clear with that. Okay, moving towards the next slide, guys. Now let us understand the SSB interview. Okay, SSB interview is one of the main part of the examination. Okay, now guys, remember SSB interview categorized into two categories. First category is screening test. Okay, first category is screening, in which all the uneligible candidates are screened out. Okay, on basis of what? Basis of two tests, OIR, that is Officer Intelligence Rating Test. That is a basic test for reasoning. Okay, and if you are really good, if you are reasonably good in reasoning, then you can basically clear this examination. Then comes PPDT, Picture Perception and Description Test. What happens in this particular test, guys? You shall be shown a vague picture, and on that picture, with limited amount of time, you will have to write a story. Okay, and after that you shall be directed to group discussion. Okay, so this is the first part known as screening. Based on your performance in your OIR and your PPDT, you shall be either screened in for the next stage, that is stage 2, okay, or you shall be screened out and then you will have to return back. Okay, then comes the second stage. In second stage, there are number of tests, which it can be either psychology test, okay, group task, and at the day 5 you have your conference. What happens in psychology test or group task? See, the entire SSB is basically has three foundations. Okay, what are the three foundations? Mansa, Vacha and Karmana. Okay, Mansa, which means thought, Vacha, which means speech, and Karmana, which means actions. Okay, so guys, if there is a sync between your thought, speech and actions, then SSB should not be a very difficult task for you. Okay, and at the very 5th date or the last date, that is known as a conference, in a room you will be called in, and there will be officers. Okay, they will be asking about your visit, how was your stay, how was your performance, and by that time either you are in or out, or if they are asking you questions, if they are giving you some situation reaction test, or if they are giving you some psychological related test, which means consider yourself as being on the borderline, that shall be deciding your fate. So if you are facing across any such conditions, then please attentively and cautiously give your answer. So what happens after conference? An officer will come in and announce the name of the individuals who have been recommended. Now what happens after recommendation, guys? The the cycle is not over. Then comes the stage 3, that is the medical examination. Okay, so you see, you're joining the armed forces as an officer, so you need to have a decent medical standard. So based on the series of medical tests, you shall be either medically fit or not fit. Okay, so if medically fit, what happens? You will be waiting for All India merit list. So if you have your name in the All India merit list, then you can join your respective academies and go intensive training for at least 1 year or 52 weeks. Okay, so guys, so far we have understand how the examination process and training works. What after you have completed your training? Okay, that might be the question for all of you. So see guys, moment you have completed your training, you will be having a passing out parade, and after that you shall be commissioned in the Indian Armed Forces as an officer. Okay, if you're joining the army, you shall be joining directly as a lieutenant. If you're joining the Navy, sub-lieutenant, and if you're joining the Air Force, you shall be joining as a flying officer. So all of these are commission ranks, and class 1 gazetted officers you shall be once you clear the examination. So guys, let us understand how you can approach the examination. Okay, so see, unlike just like most of the examination, most of the competitive examination, it has 3 core aspects: English, general knowledge, and mathematics. Okay, so guys, English is basic grammar, comprehension, vocabulary, composition. Then comes general knowledge. General knowledge is basically asked on 10th level. However, remember guys, the examination is conducted by UPSC, so they will maintain their standards. Okay, questions will be standard statement based, and what we see, questions are asked from multiple domains such as polity, history, economics, geographics, military awareness. Science has an important weightage, current affairs, of course. And then comes our mathematics. In mathematics, arithmetic, trigonometry, geometry, statistics, etc. These are the important areas. So guys, remember, when it comes dealing with competitive examination, what is important is that we know what to study. But what is more important than that, what not to study. And most of the candidates, they suffer in that particular aspect. Okay, because we have a limited time period, we have a limited time frame, and every minute counts. Okay guys, so these are the certain cutoffs given for the written test. You see guys, for OTA, the examination is conducted out of 200 marks. So the written cutoff becomes 81, sometimes become 100. Okay, so what you need to understand, that English is a subject where you can maximize your chances of getting selection, because GK sometimes, since it is conducted by UPSC, becomes unpredictable. So if you are doing good in your English, high chances that even if you are doing decent in your GK, you will basically clear the written cutoff, and after that you shall be going for your SSB.